What's up? Welcome back. Today we're going to be going over how to increase the spawn rate of gang hideouts wherever you are on the map. I'm Bandit Barney, bringing you everything you need to know about Red Dead 2 and Red Dead Online. Thanks to our Discord and some dedicated members, like I think it was Spooky Medic he goes by. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for some of the insight. Other people have given insight as well. Skepto Pastonaire. Some hard names to say, but we have a list of all the different things you can do to increase gang hideouts, and these will help you greatly getting those gangs to spawn. Have you been someone who's been hunting gangs, you're running around and you see one pop up on your mini map? All of a sudden, it disappears. You ride over to the gang hideout, the smoke, you can see the smoke has ended, but it's still up in the air. You can see where it's not coming out of the chimney or the smoke spout anymore, and there's no gangs to be found. There's tents up, it looks like the gang should be there, but they just simply aren't there. This happens about a quarter of the time when you're hunting gangs, and it's probably one of the most annoying things. Why are we hunting gang hideouts? For treasure maps, or because they're a lot of fun. They're one of the only free roam events in Red Dead Online, and I'm going to teach you how to avoid them disappearing on you, along with how to get them to spawn in more often. Let's start with tackling the main issue, or one of the bigger issues, which is them despawning on you. It's probably one of the most annoying things, and the way to get around this is to go in slowly towards the gang and turn your camera backwards. Anytime you come up to a possible gang hideout, or as soon as you see that gang hideout pop up on your minimap, spin your camera around. It's better if you start with your camera turned around, but you can sometimes save gang hideouts from despawning if you turn your camera backwards as you're riding to the hideout. I do this throughout this video every single time I come up on a hideout. This will prevent the hideout from despawning on you. Now, the theory behind this is that the gang hideouts are a random event, but the game doesn't want to just spawn characters in front of you. It doesn't want to throw NPCs down in front of you and see that happen. But gang hideouts spawn relatively close to players. Now, one place that I love hunting gangs is down in Tumbleweed, and Tumbleweed's fairly flat. So you can often be riding around and you'll see that gang hideout thing spawn on your mini map, and then you'll be looking at the gang hideout and no guys come in. The indicator on the mini map goes away and you're left empty-handed. You are essentially, what you're doing is you're forcing the game to spawn characters in front of you, which the game won't do. So it's not going to spawn them in front of you, and so rather than spawn them there, it decides, hey, let's just take the game hideout altogether. You fix this by every single time you come up on a gang hideout, look away, turn your camera backwards, and this won't happen to you again. You won't run into a gang hideout that spawns and despawns before you can get there. This will increase the number of gang hideouts you hit probably by 25% at the least, because this happens all the time. So this is one of the most useful tips in getting those gang hideouts to spawn. Next, we have the carcass, and the carcass method is one that is widely known. It's get a carcass on your horse and start riding around to find these gang hideouts. Get a 3-star carcass. It's important to start with a 3-star carcass because for some reason the gangs and different random events like cougar spawning in and different animals, all these different things happen more often when you have that 3-star carcass. If you're ever roaming around and you get a kill on an animal, you'll notice if there's an NPC there, they'll mention something on how good the kill is. All the deers and everything in the game are the same size, but to the game they're not. The value is different. So if you see if you kill a 1-star animal and an NPC rides by, he might say something like, not the best kill, but you know, get what you can get. If you kill a 3-star, the NPC will say something like, wow, what a shot, or what a kill, you know, like, you must have some real luck. That's a good kill you got there. So the value of these carcasses is different when it comes to the in-game mechanics and how it relates to other things happening. Gangs happen to spawn, like, there's an element of randomness to them. So they're gonna spawn more often when you're not looking for them, in a weird way, right? In a weird way, that's going to be true. That's why getting these carcasses helps you to spawn the gang hideouts, because the game realizes, oh, okay, so he's not just out here looking for game hideouts, not that the game's recognizing people that are looking for hideouts, but when you're doing other things in the area, that's going to increase your chances of having those gang hideouts spawn. And when you have a 3-star carcass, it has a higher value in game that will trigger that gang hideout to spawn. So get a 3-star carcass. It's important the value of the carcass that you grab. Get that 3-star carcass. When you're riding towards the gangs, make sure you're looking away, and that's going to increase the chance of 1, that gang hideout spawning, and 2, when it spawns, not despawning. In fact, if you're looking away and riding slowly the entire time when you roll up to your gang hideout, and I like to keep the 2 mini map rule here. I work with I use an expanded minimap, use 2 expanded mini-maps away. Before you get within those 2 mini-maps, make sure you're looking away and start riding slowly. That way, when you do trigger the gang hideout, it will stay spawned in and you're not gonna lose it. This will work for you every single time. One thing I forgot to mention when you're going for gang hideouts, you want to be alone, obviously, because otherwise players will try and come and steal your gang hideouts or whatnot. So use that classic trick of, I'm in Tumbleweed this time, so what I did is I spawned in Lemoyne a couple times, because when you're hunting gang hideouts, it's going to take some time. You'll be there for 30 minutes at least, probably an hour or more. So you want to have a really good map. So I spawned in Lemoyne a few times, found the one that worked really, really well for me, and then I ride to the fast travel post. Now, right before you fast travel, what you can do is open up your player menu, hit left on the D-pad, go all the way down to online options, and turn social matchmaking off. Then fast travel to your location. This is going to enable you to have it's going to help you to not have anyone spawn on you. If you have that social matchmaking on, then effectively when players load into the game, you're one of the options that they can load into. If you have a full lobby, but no one's in the area where you're at, full lobby, I mean 20 plus players, but no one's in that area you're at, if you have social matchmaking turned off, you're not going to have anybody spawn in on you. So when you have a medium size or plus size lobby, this is going to be an effective method to keep you alone in an area for a long time, unless one of those active players travels to your location. Don't forget to turn social matchmaking off, because getting griefed while trying to hunt gang hideouts, or just getting griefed in general, is annoying, and this helps for that. On the note of, we're getting this carcass, we're riding to these gang hideouts. When you hunt a gang hideout and you just finish that one, what's really effective to kind of reset the randomness of these gangs and get them to spawn more often is to continue hunting things in between your time spent at the gang hideouts. You don't need to focus on getting a 3-star carcass again. You don't need to do that. But if you, in between those possible hideout locations, if you hunt something else, that's going to hit kind of like a reset on your values, and it'll get another gang hideout to spawn in. For some reason, I can't say to exactly what the scale is that spawns these gang hideouts. We haven't pinpointed exactly, like, do step 1, 2, 3, 4, and then boom, gang hideout will spawn. We don't have those exact values, but we do know that hunting is going to help you improve your chances of doing gang hideouts. Kind of telling the game, hey, I'm not interested in gang hideouts, will help you get them more often. So after each one, make sure you hunt something and then get down and skin it. You don't need to replace your carcass on your horse. Keep that 3-star carcass, but getting off your horse and doing a hunting action is going to help you get that next gang hideout more often. Make sure you're doing that between them. Now, there is some truth to gang hideouts spawning more often when you're in an area with other players that aren't a part of your posse. There is some more truth. I'm not sure if this is something that Rockstar's done to create like player-to-player interaction in their game, but if you're in an area with other players, the gang hideouts are going to spawn more often. This isn't a super helpful thing though, because if you want a gang hideout, you need to, and you want the full benefit of it, which is like using your special ammo for more XP, getting the treasure map at the end, and looting all the bodies. You can't necessarily do that when you're playing against other players to do it. You need to be the first one to engage the hideout, and you need to be the one to kill the leader in order to get that loot from him. So, although it's going to spawn more often, it's going to spawn more hideouts when you're around other players that aren't a part of your posse, it's not necessarily going to help you get the treasure maps for it. And if you're not the first person to shoot an enemy in the hideout, then you're also not going to get the award for hunting hideouts. There's a total of, if you hunt 100, you complete this award. So if you're not the first person to shoot, doesn't matter if someone else comes in and finishes it, you're not going to get the award for finishing the hideout. I don't know if you lose it. You may lose it. I'm not sure. But I know for sure you're not going to get the award for finishing that hideout if you're not the one that starts it. So having other players in the area that aren't a part of your posse could be helpful. There's probably a situation where you could start a posse with some of your friends and then have them doing other things in the area, and then so you have that group, right? But then canceling out the posse, so none of you are actually on a team, but you're all in the area, you all know each other, you're not going to be griefing each other. Make sure everyone turns off social matchmaking, and then have everyone do their own thing while one of you is going around hunting these gang hideouts. If you have friends that are willing to take the hit for you, or they just want to go hunting over here, they want to do some hunting and tumbleweed, hit some birds, have them join up with you, then cancel the posse so no one's in it. That is actually going to be a helpful way of getting the hideouts to spawn more often. Not all of us are in a position where people are going to want to join up with us just so that we can benefit off them being in the area. I understand that. But other than that, there's no necessarily effective way to utilize other players in an area for gang hideouts, because most of the time that players are in an area and they see a gang hideout spawn up on the map, they're gonna go for it. It's one of the funner things to do in the game right now. It's one of the only free roam activities that happens at random. It's a random world activity, and most players are intrigued when a gang hideout spawns. So unless you have that specific scenario where you're able to set up with other players that aren't a part of your posse but that know you and have them do their own thing, there's not really a great way of utilizing those other players. With there being tons of different things that you can do, and as time goes on, we're finding better ways to spawn these gang hideouts. Thank you for being a part and helping me come up with these new methods. If you have something that we missed, let me know down below. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do that. And until the next time, catch you later.